Hello, I am back today with an incredible stream, which is Road Warden. Now, I have played this game before, but it has been... I've played it, I think, in early 2023? And I don't remember really much of it. I remember I made some bad choices, and that I was like, yeah, I should definitely keep a notebook around me next time, because there is a bit to keep track of, and the way I think, it can be a bit hard to keep track of everything going on. So, some communities distinguish tameable animals from dangerous beasts, while others see them all as wild monsters or dark creatures, the enemy of our kind. The entrance phase into Road Warden. I do think it changes each time, which I think is cool. Yeah, this game is about being a Road Warden. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Road Wardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectful one, and it pays well. I leave the safety of the city walls, or I still have my doubts. So Road Warden is set up where it is almost like, it is very much similar to a visual novel, so I have to make my decision. So as a ghost, do I leave the safety of the city walls to embark on being a Road Warden and take care of these problems, or do I still have doubts within my mind? And for me, I am somebody that likes to jump into things, and I definitely still have my doubts, though. But that'll take you back to the beginning. So I leave the safety of the city walls. Casual, standard, or restrictive? Standard. Though casual could be good, because no time limit, more cash at the start. Some quests are more forgiving. Standard, for those more familiar with RPGs, 40-day time limit regular rule sets, or for the returning Road Wardens, 30-day time limit, increased nighttime damage. I gotta do standard. Casual is way too easy. I refuse to play it on easy. Alright, standard. We're gonna be a standard Road Warden. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You are supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp is not safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beast folk, nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. Alright, that is worrisome. Alright, it's amazing how much I don't remember of this game. Alright, I could look for another shelter. I need to look around, cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. Not entering the camp briskly, because I am definitely more nervous than that. Alright, look for another shelter is a good option. Look around cautiously. Sneaking to the gate and taking a peek inside might be a good choice. Get a good idea if there is anybody left, seeing if it is damaged. The fact that it's quiet, but there's no stench of blood. Alright, yeah. Need to take a look around cautiously. I'll do cautiously, I'll do the second option. Because sneaking inside, if there is the soldiers I'm looking for, they might be a little nervous about me sneaking around. But cautiously looking around should be fine, right? Alright. I'll quick save just in case. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses barely cover the arid soil of this valley, but you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which get denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe that it's the only route north. Okay, yeah, I'll do sneaking then. Because I don't want to look for another shelter right away, because I want to see if there are the soldiers I'm meant to meet. Maybe they're just low numbers, maybe some are out doing different things. Alright, I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bring your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher chance you'll die in combat. Dang. Just having a long ride depleted my health. Alright. I approach the gate slowly. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. They don't look like much of a threat. I can enter. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes, his beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with the head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these 2 surely look the part. Though, there should be more of them. 8, you believe. Ooh, that's a bit, 8 down to 2? Like I said, there might be some outside of the encampment, like getting firewood or doing different things. Also, maybe there's other locations nearby that they could be stationed at. But it is a little worrisome that she did look like she took a gambeson off of a corpse, and that there's only 2 of them, but based on the meeting at the beginning, this is not a kind place to be. Alright, I let them speak first, or ask them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. Friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable. Friendly, be supportive and cordial. Playful, use a joke or witty comment. Distance, hide your emotions. Intimidating, hide a friend. Or vulnerable, be sad, tired, afraid, or hopeless. Well, let me think. If I came across a situation and I walked in, I'm a bit on edge, I think I would be friendly. Or maybe even make a little witty comment. Probably friendly. Because I don't know what sort of joke would be said. Alright, let's be friendly. Oh, no, you can click on these and see what it says. Oh, cool. So, friendly is, I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? Playful. I'm sure you're busy, so if you could just introduce me to your lieutenant. Nah, that's not as jokey as I thought. Because for me, if I walked into this place, I'd be like, man, seems like a ghost town here. You don't mind if I come around? I was supposed to meet with your lieutenant. I don't know, something like that. Like making a little joke. Like saying something lighthearted about the situation that I see. Alright, distance. I'm looking for your lieutenant. That's pretty good. Friendly. I was hoping to meet with... Can we talk for a bit? That's a good one. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. I'd rather speak to someone who's not going to waste my time. It's fucking mean. Sheesh. Vulnerable. I had a long journey. I need to have a word with your lieutenant. That is a... good, but I don't know if they're enemies. Alright, I think I'll do friendly. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a sigh, dusts off her gambeson, and steps toward you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can. You and I, though holding this rank, is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Or are you looking for help? I'm your new road warden. My horse is waiting outside. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece all by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but it dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hands. I shake her hand. I'm gonna shake her hand. Might as well be fine. My name is Mettie. Mettie of Mettie. Her grasp is confidence. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from these tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. Ah, there's one issue. The soldier in the shirt also says, we've got no tent to spare. You'll have to use a blanket or something. No problem, I enjoy observing the stars. Or, I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway. Ooh. I feel like I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway. No problem, I enjoy observing the stars. Yeah. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but it's also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle with a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. It's my only companion here. I want it to feel at ease. Or, I don't care how it feels, but I need to be strong if I want to travel. Yep, no. If I have a horse, and I'm like starting a new job, like, I'm somebody that, I'm a really chatty person, but I also very much love solitude. I very like being by myself. I really just like the relaxing state of observing things through my own eyes, you know? So having a companion like a horse, well, it's similar to when I used to do long car rides by myself. I took a trip, 12-hour drive once, just sleeping in my car, going throughout the middle of nowhere. So for me, that car was my companion, and if I had a horse, it would be even more the same, because then it's a life, it's a companion, it's important. So yes, I'm going to take care of my horse. I want my horse to feel at ease. It takes a few steps toward you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals, and even pets, as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead human to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship. I speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to shave. You wish it had something better to eat than its shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. Ooh, class decisions, heck yeah. Alright, there's fighter. I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. Then there's mage. I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. Then there is scholar. I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a small healing potion. Ooh, okay. Let me think about this. I can also learn more about the 3 classes, which I think I will click, but let me first think about there's 3 options: fighter, mage, and scholar. Now, fighter makes a lot of sense. If you're a road warden and there's going to be beast encounters alongside highwaymen, it's probably going to be nice to have some nice gambeson, and a nice axe, and a crossbow to keep in that hand. I think that if I... Well, let me think about this. Because I want to play as myself. There's a reason why I put in my own name, so I feel like I myself am trained with the sword. But if I was going out into wilderness as a ghost, mage or scholar feels like it would suit me better. Talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and worn gambeson. Or a scholar writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, worn gambeson, and a small healing potion. Fighter feels like the safe route. The other two are way more risky. So let me read more. I think I'm going to go mage or scholar. I'm going to regret this. Okay, let me see. If I choose not choosing fighter, it's gonna be harder. But let me read through. Oh my god, that is a lot. As a fighter, you'll have an easier time in physical challenges, thanks to your superior equipment and hidden bonuses during dice rolls. You'll be physically more capable than the other classes. What opens unique opportunities during some social interactions. It's the best class for RPG beginners. The fighter's weakness is their reliance on physical strength. Your special abilities won't be available to you if your vital points drop to 0. The mage uses Pneuma, a versatile but limited pool of energy points that can be spent to cast a few humble spells. Magic won't protect you better than a sharp axe, but as a mage, you'll be able to heal faster when resting, detect magic in a mysterious area, distract a beast with a simple trick, and find a common tongue with other magic users. Using the mage's powers too freely will result in having no Pneuma left when you need it the most. The scholar will know about the world's mysteries. Will know more about the world's mysteries than you, helping you take advantage of some unusual situations. Your character will impress the locals with its knowledge, and you'll be able to read the sparse written clues without anyone's assistance. Scholars struggle with combat more than the other classes, but with enough carefulness and exploration, you'll gain access to alchemical mixtures that will help you escape from many dangerous situations. Okay, so it's pretty much actually done on difficulty level. Fighter is easiest, mage is second easiest, scholar is the hardest. Now, I have horrible RNG. This is something that my friends joke about, that people I have DM'd for have joked about. And it has saved many of my players in many situations. So, Scholar, I'm probably going to die very quickly. But I really, really like the idea of being able to be well-versed in things. Alright. Mage or Scholar? I want to be able to know what spells I'll be able to cast. You know? Fuck it. I'm going to put myself in the deep end, and I'm going to regret this. I know this. I almost always am pretty good at clocking when I'm going to regret the choice I'm going to make, but it's always a learning experience. Alright. I'd like to play as a scholar. I'm already starting to feel like that was a bad choice. Alright. You unpack and expect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still there. Just in case, you take... Oh, inventory. Well, it's blocking me the text. I have to just read this. Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat food, drink potions, and use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on a new item you achieve, as some of them can have unusual applications. Food rations. They consist of dried meat, crackers, nuts, seed, fruits, and water, which spoil slowly and don't require additional cooking. A small healing potion. A set of earthenware bottles that contain small amounts of magical concoctions. Merchandise. A pouch with coins. The city artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. A gambeson. A padded defensive jacket made of linen filled with racks. It's the cheapest type of armor, yet surprisingly effective and, as a result, very common. Alchemical ingredients. To brew new potions, you need to find suitable tools and some undisturbed time. Brewing is difficult, and your alchemical skills, while humble, are valuable. The travel set. Your sacks contain all sorts of useful tools. Writing instruments. Parchment scrolls kept in tubes, ink, quills, and wax tablets with a bone stylus. Most northerners are illiterate, but they are happy to meet someone who can write a letter in their name. Weapons. A simple battle axe. Traveling with an axe shows that you've learned how to fight humans and human-sized monsters. It's not masterfully made, but it's already been put to the test, and you've practiced with it for many days. Okay. That's pretty good inventory. I'm going to save over. These are, well, that saves. Alright, well, now I can see how long ago it has been. It's been over a year. Not surprising, I don't remember it anymore. Alright. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still here. And just in case, you take a look at your wooden bowl and your mug. Your cape, tinderbox bandages, food rations, knife. Nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes. But this doesn't make it any more exciting. Alright, taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. Okay, return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beast and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. Yeah, I mean, they're eating it, so it's fine. I join them and take a look at the meal. Well, I have low health, so I thank them for the meal, but I don't want to eat with them. I sit down, ask Hulu what you can with. No, I'm gonna eat. I joined them and take a look at the meal. It's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. The specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, some strange-looking cereals, and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Road wardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlement stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. Oh, keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. Okay, good. Alright, I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste. Then, speak with Tulia. Yeah, I have no idea when I'm going to get food next. I have rations, so I shouldn't use them too much. It said, I think, standard setting, you have 40 days left, and I don't think I have enough rations to last each 40 days. So, yeah, 3 out of 4 for health. That's good. Alright. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods toward the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the official tell you? I expect not that much. No soul governs in these lands. I share what I consider to be relevant, or what I've discussed with the officials should stay between me and them. I would like to befriend these people. There's a reason why they've been staying around this long. And if soldiers are based in camaraderie, well, then they wouldn't necessarily find it wrong, especially with them only be 2 of them, to find a bit of a companion in me, the new road warden. Alright, so I shall share what I consider to be relevant. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received. Since this area is too far away from Hovlaven to... Can I hover over this? See what it is? Probably the capital I'm from. This area is too far away from Hovlaven to keep it under control. You were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Oh, hi, Invanta! How are you doing? Sometimes I'm going to be narrating because there's a lot of text in this one, so sometimes I won't respond as soon as I can to you, but nice to see you, dude. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn to walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. Lieutenant Link drinks from her cup and crosses her legs. Ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? Just woke up? Well, make sure to do your morning routine. Make sure to have some breakfast if you can stomach it. Make yourself something to drink and just chill out. Good to spend your mornings with you. It's so funny because I know I'm definitely a few hours ahead of you time zone wise, because for me this is like afternoon going towards evening. But good morning to you, or good noon to you. Whatever time it is. Alright. What should I know about the peninsula? Any ideas what happened to the previous road warden? I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? What happened to your squad till you had to become a lieutenant? What was your squad's mission? Anything I should know about this camp? If you were me, where would you go next? Before I continue my journey, I need to ask them about the peninsula, the road warden, and the rope. It's after 1 p.m.? Oh, a late waker. That's cool. I hope that you slept well. And I hope it was decent quality sleep and you were able to sleep for a decent amount of time too. Alright, I guess that we should start just at the top. What should I know about the peninsula? I take a sip of my tea. Alright. I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I guess it would be 3-4 days? When you confirm, she continues. From here, you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlaven officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools, but maintaining order on a wild coast such as this one is like filling the ocean depths with coins. 20 minutes as always. Oh, am I 20 minutes into streaming? Heck yeah. Alright. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know much about fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to the camp, but when we traveled to the roadside inn, Pell to the north, they were happy to trade and to play dice. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, well, you know, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post, and, well... He turns towards Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Mettie, but are you a devout soul? Oh, I get to decide. New part of the character. Alright. Like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. Alright, United Church. That is the option. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of Order of Truth. Alright, I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, Numa, and soul are the main virtues of life. My community is unique and independent, and so are their members. I have a place in my fellowship. I have a strong connection to natures and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. Or there's no evidence of the right's existence and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. Alright, so I have 5 different spiritual choices. Now, as somebody who's Anishinaabe, pagan would be the choice for me. I mean, that's just... Outside of even Anishinaabe, it's common for just indigenous people to live this way. So, even if it will be treacherous by city folk, because I am playing as myself, I have to choose this option. It's just the closest thing. Oh, pagan road warden? The man scratches his head without the slightest subtlety. No, I'm sure we can have a conversation. We're civilized people. The lieutenant clears her throat. I'm from the United Church, but I'm not a priest or anything, and definitely not a zealot. An awkward pause. The United Church has spilled the blood of countless king time, making it clear that who's not with them is against them. Your family shared gruesome stories about the atrocities committed by the priests against your ancestors. Whoa, just like real life, that's awesome. Alright, sure, I'm not looking for squabbles. Yeah, I mean, it's a cultural thing too. Like, I'm not gonna fight with anybody who's religious and comes from the church that beat my grandfather because he was native. So yeah, I mean, sure, I'm not looking for squabbles. Obviously, she's not going to reinforce it. She just believes in the ideas, but is not going to cause problems. So yeah, of course. I mean, we're out in the middle of the fucking woods where beasts and weird entities are gonna try and kill us. I'm not gonna cause a problem. The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here. She starts to draw lines with her index finger, as if she's pointing at an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It has a priest who even claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chips in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. No, I'll have to keep it. Actually, I said before at the beginning of this, I have to keep a notebook because last time I played it a year ago, and I don't remember absolutely anything from it. I remember liking the game, but one of the only things I did remember was this long-lasting impression that I should have kept a notepad because I forgot a lot of the stuff while I was playing it. Okay, so first things to write down. To the northwest village, bog village. And it was fellowship. Bog village fellowship. Use dead to cut down trees. Use dead to cut down trees. Use dead for tasks, I should say. Use dead for tasks. Witchcraft? Question mark? Oh, it's gonna be so funny looking back on my notes later. You're just so wow. What am I doing now? I'm literally just reading stuff and then writing notes. Alright. Where we go. I'm definitely going to need to go to that fellowship bog. I want to see the undead. Well, as an undead, kind of makes sense for me to see the undead. Though it seems that these types seem to be more zombies, I assume. That'll be interesting. Alright, let me take another sip. I'm going to need to drink a lot. It's the same problem I have when I'm being a dungeon master and running a campaign. It's very important to keep your throat nice, warm, and hydrated because talking this much can fuck you up. Alright. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If an isolated settlement manages to survive without a city's influence, Its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages. The bringers of doom, the traitors to mankind. Okay, so United Church is anti-pagans, druids, necromancers, and blood mages. Also, it's good for me to know that there are these anti-pagans, druids, necromancers, and blood mages. That's something that I always kind of recommend to my players when I am running a campaign, is that if something stands out to you and your character is going to most likely remember information, to write it down. And so in this case, I'm going to write this down because me as a road warden, when living through the situation, even if I as a streamer am going to forget, I would like myself, this road warden version of me, to remember. Alright. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? And how about the East? Any monster worth mentioning? I really hope I can go through all these. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it. The lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a road warden. These roads are dangerous with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. Oh, if you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first, and soon. Tulia nods. Hell to the north is a safe space. You can walk with the innkeep or the guards. Ask them about the road. Okay. Northwest also has a Hell to the North inn. That is close. Hell of the North inn is closer than Necromancer Village. Okay, cool. Don't gotta be doing anything, I just admire you. Aw. I'm glad. Alright. So Hell to the North is before the Necromancer Village. And how about the East? I'll just go in from top to bottom. And how about the East? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. A tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, huh? Well, I want the scholar route, so I've ought to get more information from that. Alright, so I'll keep that in mind. Alright, any monster worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mounts? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man started to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spike boars, mufflin eaters, griffins. But we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tulia glanced at her companion. Though, Palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. Flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. Flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. I like how serious I am about trying to survive this. I'm taking my job seriously. Flying creatures. Mountains. Coast. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting amongst themselves. They fight for more food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckle. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. Alright, that's all I need to know. She nods. I'm afraid we can't do more for you. Alright, any ideas what happens to the previous road warden? That should be the second thing I can ask. Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for our rescue mission? We haven't heard from him for almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. Right, stopped showing up in early summer. I don't know if any of this will be necessary, but like, it's amazing what is actual foreshadowing and important and what is not. I used to read a ton of murder mysteries where you can actually figure it out along the way. And alright. And so it's something that for me, I always liked keeping notebooks and writing down things that stood out. Alright. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave it all. Unlike us, Asterion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless cackle. He's secretive, but some of us locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Okay, so I guess the Road Warden's name is Asterion? I'll write that down. Previous, let's write an arrow. Asterion, then no. I'll keep that in mind. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his Saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer road wardens often use four-legged, meat-eating saurians as their mount. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but, unlike horses, they can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Right. Rides Saurian Beast. It's so funny writing notes. Alright. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings. Oh wait, no, wrong voice. Neither of us had any insight into his dealings, says Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We almost took a look at Asterion's stuff. Wait! She opens her open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids. In a village near Hovelin. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, some potions. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So, you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned and you know nothing about her, she either ran away, or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us. Tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Hovland together. You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Hovland in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows, you may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. Alright. Male. Spear. 5 foot tall. Stout. Red hair. Beard. Beard long. Pale. Really smiles. I don't know if I'm gonna come across a stranger and it's gonna be him and he's gonna run away. You know what I mean? Like, I have no clue where this is gonna go. Alright. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So, find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. I've lost my rope. Could you spare one? What happened to your squad? I asked him for the rope. Alright, I'll ask everything else. What happened to your squad, I guess? And I'll take another sip. So much are going on in these woods. Alright. Man shrugs. Bandits happen. And monsters. A strong band, though. His companion chips in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some folk living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would all have died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap. The armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away. Who knows where? They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. It kind of worked. Oh, wait. Is that the guy or the other? No, I think. It kind of worked, added the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear out the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wants to get rid of them and take over camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road, saved lives. Okay, I don't know if they still have the ice mage. Alright, slavers in the woods. Slavers, bandits. And ice mage, question mark? Alright. You mentioned monsters as well? Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a tree ant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, but she didn't tell us that he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She lets out a glassy chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north. Find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. You've made this place safer. Barely. Talia seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. Well, that's kind of sad. Dang. Alright, Talia had to become a lieutenant. Squad's mission. Anything about the camp? If you remember where you go next. Alright, Talia had to become a lieutenant. That's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hands, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of... what should I call it? She exchanges look with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Havlavin chief selects commanders, these select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So, you were his successor? Nah, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Do we like that to say a man and male attack isn't like a wise decision? Well, considering that they were lovers, I'm not going to judge them. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Basically, yeah. she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Alright, what was your squad's mission? The lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual, making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. Since no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? She does not trust me enough to tell her about her squad's mission. Ooh. Anything I should know about this camp? The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys, just between the inn and the southern villages. Oh my gosh. I did not expect a yawn right there. My eyes teared up. Alright. There's plenty of grass here and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time, serving as shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here, wherever you want. The man concludes their tale. Though, don't expect me to wake up without paying your back. Don't expect to wake up with pain in your back. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers too quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest of here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia. But the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Alright, northwest. Yes, northwest. Any tips on how to make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. I've lost my rope. Can you spare me one? You're in luck. She heads to one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down in her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. A fine rope. A regular rope made of hemp fibers. I take it and offer some food in return. Tulia leans forward and rests her forearms on her thighs, looking down with clasped hands, then meets your eyes. I normally refuse, but we need some decent food. Every day I'm searching through our groats, looking for worms and putridity. We forage, but it's not a great spot. Some food rations will brighten up a foggy day. For now, you leave the rope on the table. Oh, I wonder if she trusts me now about your squad's mission. Oh! I can't really tell you. Let's just say it would be nice to have a reliable outpost somewhere nearby. A place where you can always find a group of fighters willing to protect you in the name of the law. She tilts her head back. Now, if you have any other questions. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. Ooh, archive to reread the most recent text. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Wait, journal. Oh, I can write down notes. Oh, wait. Asterian. Whoa, okay, that's good to know. So I guess I don't need... I will keep taking notes because I don't know... City of Havlaven. One of the greatest harbors in Dragonwoods in the heart of the northern western province of the 10 cities. It was hard by its officials and merchants. According to Tulia. Oh, so this will fill out more the more I go. Whoa. Apes and monkeys? Beast folks? Corpse eaters? Oh, geez. Dragonlings, dragons, foxes, and such gargoyles, goblins, golems, griffins, harpies, howlers, hunt lords, large cats, pebblers. Pebblers? They can get as big as a house? Runners, saurians, that's the mount, spiders, tree ants? They can camouflage. Trolls, undead, unicorns, wolves. Okay. Animal husbandry? Whoa, that is a lot. Okay. I'm not going to read everything now. Now I know that I can write down notes in that. So actually, let me... I have a notepad on hand in front of me that I am going to keep writing down on, but I will start then putting more notes in the actual journal. Cool. I agree. Tulia sighs with relief. And you do better than Asterion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Thank you for your help. One more thing if I can. The bearded man approaches you. Can you take the first watch? Split in time between 3 people makes a great difference. I want to befriend these people, so I will. Sure, leave it to me. Fabulous. He pats your shoulder. Should be calm at least before midnight. Wake me up in a few hours or even earlier if anything happens. I smile. I'm happy to do my part. You go to... Oh, stay tight to have a better chance to influence others. Appearance 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. I prepare for my watch. Ooh. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if someone's being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points at a pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view at the northern side. Oh, I guess it's this one in the drawing. That's cool. The more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points the tent on the other side of him. I can handle a couple of hours sleeping on the ground. If you wish, go there after me and rest. Just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. I smile. Thanks a lot. Oh, that's cute. I get to use his bed. Now he's a sweetie. Yeah, I can definitely do a shift for a few hours. You put your blankets on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshments. From time to time, your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see a 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with the lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple words. You confirm that nothing important has happened. I gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with my cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcome rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. I absolutely love the description of everything that was just happening. It was such a vivid scene too, and one of my favorite things, like, I'm somebody that's a very outdoorsy person. The idea of, tired body and you're just struggling awake but you're still keeping watch. I've known that feeling very well, and just taken in, the appearance of the ongoings of the early night. I don't know. What a beautiful scene. Alright. To focus on my duties. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula. Learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovland officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers, or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time. 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. I'm definitely not gonna get anything, and now I'm like, I kind of wish I went with, like, I did advanced settings and made it not have a time, because now I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And I can always do a playthrough of this again later on, like months ahead too, after I'm done with this one. Alright. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Hovlaven. There, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. Oh my gosh! Nice! Background time I get to choose. Alright. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. That is a heavy motivation, man. Alright. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. I can totally understand that. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. Oh, that's really good. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm, a hero. Lofty dreams and ambitions, that's good. I just want to help people make this region safer for locals and newcomers alike. Or I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult task and I want it to be forgotten. I think I just want to help people. Make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. Because that's very aligned with who I am as a person. If I can help people out and make people feel days be easier, be better on them, then I will go even do a little bit extra work just to help people. Like I'm very motivated by the well-being of others. So I will choose this one. I just want to help people, make this region safer for locals and the newcomers alike. New shelter unlocked. New entry, help others. You can't travel during the night. Press the sleep button to rest. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious. The pleasant, humid, late summer air evens it out slowly. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. Sleep. Alright, sleeping in a tent. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and rain and the cold. And the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. Alright, no health added. 2 food is taken away. And 1 cleanliness is taken away. Okay. You've woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. After only a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell, like a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. I go outside to see what's happening. That is not... That isn't good. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address you. Mettie, she greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse amongst the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? The latter, a young one. She lacks the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock... Fog? Okay, Fog increases undead strength. That is good for me as a ghost to know. Fog increases undead strength. Cool. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours and each moment it spends in the fog. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, and even road wardens. Making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves life. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Running away from the recon. I don't blame you. She walks with you a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happened to Asterion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre. I prepare myself for the journey. You somehow missed the fact that your mount is already saddled and warmed up. You double-check the equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally preparing a palfrey from a long journey takes a lot of time. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt. Then, get in the saddle. The palfrey nickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads, north from here. Alright, I need to ride north. And off we go. Finally, we've gotten through the first camp and met our first people, but now it is time to properly travel into the northern reaches, where I will be road warden. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia and to return to Hovlavin. Alright, travel north. Time to sip. Oh, the music! It was not playing music before. I can't believe that I've just been talking in the quiet. Let me turn this up. Is there actual... Wait. Settings. Turn up the music and ambiance all the way. Okay. Maybe I should turn down more. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colors. Their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. About 2 dozen beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible, and why adventurers move in groups. Usually the safest approach would be to stay where you are and wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up to a couple hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. Well, that was weird. What was weird, Inventa? Eh? Alright, on occasion, you can use the Scholar's Education to unlock unique interactions. Okay. Knowledge. Your education could be of use here. I mix black powder with gladden that grows nearby and the dried skunk sorrel from my bag. Once I ignite it and throw it at the griffins, they'll scatter. Well... Shit. Okay. I have a limited amount of items that I can use. This will require a roll. Oh my god, my RNG is so bad. Okay. The dice icon marks the chances that involve a random chance. I don't want to use my dried skunk soul from the bag, but no, I feel like I have to. My heartbeat was getting faster and I got worried, but after I left to see what was up, it calmed down. Make sure to check your heart rate properly. If it goes too high, it can actually cause problems. Please take care of yourself. That is concerning, though. All right. Do I risk the RNG or do I? You know what? I chose Scholar for a reason. Why risk it? I'll play it safe. I mix black powder with gladden that grows nearby and the dried skunk sorrel from my bag. Once I ignite it and throw it at the griffins, they'll scatter. Alright. Time to go. Most city folk feel aversion towards black powder. Oh, wait. You can learn more about your abilities in the character sheet. Knowledge. You're literate. Your education helps you solve many mysteries. Alchemy. With an access to an alchemy table and proper ingredients, you can brew up useful balms and potions. Mettie, the Road Warden. After years spent on studying old codices and chaining to help the local villages and make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. Nice. It was just faster than usual, not like dangerously fast. Okay, that's good. That's good. I hope it is. It doesn't seem like it probably is anything too serious. If you've been having a lot of caffeine or anything that has supplements inside of it like that, that could cause that as well. Certain foods. Some people have that happen with if they've eaten spices in their food recently too. Make sure to take care of your health. Though I'm very glad that you are very aware of it to the point that you could clock it. Alright. Most city folk feel aversion toward black powder and touch it with great care. The odor of the plants makes you feel dizzy, but what's more important is that the griffins have wolf-like sensitivity to smells and noises. A few of the beasts turn their heads towards you as you approach the pack with a bag in your hands. You ignite your missile and throw it forward. At first, the creatures surround the source of smoke and then growl in disgust, even putting their beaks to the ground. They flee, allowing you to continue your journey. I climb on the horse and cover my nose. I really need to find a proper alchemy set. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. I don't know where you're going to find an alchemy set. I don't know how common it is. Ooh, keep track of your achievements as your journey unfolds. Whoa! Up over in the corner it says things. Cool. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find an inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? Oh, I wonder what tune it had. Because it said kids used to sing the song. Let me think. The harshest pathway leads. The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? That tempo could have some. The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? Dang it, I have no idea what sort of tune it could be. Alright, the signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write. For folks who can't read, covered in old red paint, it points east. Blood there, as people say. Danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance. I look at my horse. Oh, I get to choose a name for my horse. The first thing I immediately thought of course, was Epona, which is the name of Link's horse from Legend of Zelda. But no, I'm just gonna do that. It's the first thing I can think of. Oh, you figured out why it's getting faster now? That's good. It's important to know that sort of stuff. Alright. I feel like Epona is a good name. It's kind of a nerd reference, but it's good. Alright. Epona is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. Happy to go on, it takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Okay, so, berry, oh wait, I can write notes in my journal. So, okay, berry bushes and cabbages will ripen and be ready at the first. I don't know why I'm writing this all up. Will have been ripened and ready to pick about 2 weeks in. Cabbage at the first crossroads. It's because of me? Make sure that is just the reason. If you're also moving about, that can also cause it. Alright, first note. I think that's pretty good. Having a nerd read a fantasy series is enough, I guess, to make your heart beat faster. Alright, explore east or explore west? West is where the inn is. Might as well say hi there and see if they need anything. Epona trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The bird songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe deer, and saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone taller than a tree's. It must be the inn I've heard about. Now it's just because I like you a lot. Well, I'm glad you appreciate this ghostly nerd. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. There are seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back. The road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though you only see what's above their waistline. They're leaning on the parapet, right next to the gate, and you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They wear gambesons. Each one of them dyed differently, yellow, green, and linen gray. I approach the gate. Taking a sip now. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly hair, red hair, pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I haven't seen a horse for years now. I just said it was weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of villages spread around Havalden. But no jackass would wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with a male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one here says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? Friendly or cordial? How about you give it a try? Playful, I laugh. You wouldn't believe it, the lessons were plain. Well, she seems pretty goofy, so I feel like I want to do a I laugh. You wouldn't believe it. Lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed you from the long journey when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand to your back to your hips, then thighs. In return, the guards tell you that time when they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. You may be in a good... Oh, she has that contract. You may be in a good mood. The woman in yellow jacket smiles at you. But don't get so noisy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof in which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to the wooden post near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside, speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry? The other guards take care of various chores. They pick at your mounts every now and then as they're spitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, weeding the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head toward the end, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I open the door. Oh, new shelter unlocked. If you're at an inn in the morning, you can spend the entire day resting. What time is it? 13 hours and 30 minutes before dusk. Day 1, 39 days before autumn. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads behind the counter. Oh. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft, with a soft, city-like accent. He observes you with a keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I've a keg of decent ale. Wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills a mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon. Today, maybe. And we don't drink here before the evening. I hate to see the good stuff going to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. The planks let out a creak after each step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could swear that the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, My pelt of the north doesn't belong to Vlavin. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so. But if you want a better meal, you have to pay. We have some leftovers from dinner, but I'd need to check. Friendly. Distance. Thank you, I'm a road warden, so I'll never refuse a free drink. Intimidating. Playful. Definitely not playful. Maybe distanced would be good. I think I'm a road warden, so I'd never refuse a free drink. Could be a good one. So either I'm between distanced or vulnerable. I think distance would be good, but I don't want to say I won't stay here for long because I'll come back. Thank you, I'm a road warden, so I'd never refuse a free drink. This one is nice because it thanks him, but isn't as overly friendly as these two. Alright, I'm gonna quick save. I might go back into distanced. Alright. Thank you. I'm a road warden, so I'd never refuse a free drink. He meets your eyes with a frown, then grabs a wet cloth and starts to wipe down the shelves. From time to time, your conversation is interrupted by splashes of dirty water in a wooden bucket. Just don't get used to it. Coins aren't worth much here. In the north, surely less than work. And there are days of hunger. He speaks slowly, yet audibly. You won't fill your stomach with words alone. Dang it, okay, I think that wasn't a good option. Alright, quick load. Yes, I know. I wanna just be distanced. Just quick. Yeah, he didn't frown this time. He nods and fills another mug, this time with water. I guess there's no point in waiting for Asterion, then. I'm glad to see someone taking his place. Even my crew here hits the road only if they need to see the healers of Howler's Dell, and they're more than resourceful. A road warden is always going to find work here in the north, though maybe not on the eastern road. He takes a mouthful of water and drinks it with a pleased sigh. There are no guests here at this time, or hardly ever. I can take a short break. For a brief moment, he meets your eyes. Okay. I drink the ale or ignore the ale and tell the man I have a couple of questions. I do want more information, but he doesn't like when people talk too much. I drink the ale. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as a chestnut. The Leah in spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with the worrying thought I have. Ooh, so he's opening to me naturally. Which is? There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike, but they've gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt they're the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest of here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner than later. Ask Tyus, the mayor, about Glossia, that bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Glossia is ready to break the truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at a nearby dragon bone. Not too difficult, right?
Just do it when you have a chance. A couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine?
I know. I'm not gonna bargain with him. I want to have a good relationship with him. I'm not gonna. What do you have for sale? Do you have anything I like to buy? Oh, I could eat something. Do you have any leftovers? Would be a good idea. Because I only have 1 out of 4. All right. I could eat something. Do you have any leftovers?
Yes, I feed them to her poor. I won't give them away for nothing.
He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes and returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending with a hook.
Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full.
Alright, go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some
berries. Bring me a bucket full. You'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you.
The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long curved claw, almost back. I reach for the tools. Half an hour? That's quite a lot for berry picking. The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket.
Oh, the berries are not a problem.
The innkeeper smirks.
Unlike the snakes. Better scare them away with a stick or move them with a hook. And protect your hands. Little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient.
Know how to be patient, okay. Fine. I'll go right away. I would ask more questions, but I kind of just want to go. You step outside. Epona is napping. At this hour, the armorer's workshop is closed. I should go outside and forage for berries. I still have quite a bit, but until dusk. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. You put on the gloves and look through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keep them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They're round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh, so you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through the many bushes to fill the buckets, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. Oh, knowledge can be of use here. I noticed a shrub that's not like the others. Alright, quick save. I'm definitely checking out the shrub that's unique. One of the bushes in the back has more berries than the others. They're purple, and as you squeeze one of them, you recognize that these are marsh buells. In small amounts, they are added to pie, sauces, and beverages, known for their delicate sourness and sweetness, unique but not intrusive. Still, eating a cup of them will make one sick, if not poisoned. You're surprised to see them in a meadow, far away from a wetland. You could use them at an alchemy table if you can find it. For now, you put a fistful into one of your jars. The others are still a bit greenish. I gather the berries and return to the gate. Nice! You've returned to the courtyard. 2 of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. The wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. I enter the inn. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. The innkeeper is sitting at the stove, cleaning a set of metal tools and ladles.
So, you again. Need anything?
I put his fruits on the counter.
Great. He picks inside the bucket. I've got a cabbage stew with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants, if there were any around.
The meal is warm and filling. It's well seasoned and not overcooked. And, like I've said, I rarely have food to
I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life.
Oh, I feel like the relationship we have is really positive right now. Should I say thanks, or should I keep chewing? Thanks.
And how'd that old hook of mine work out for you? I see you'll still have your hands.
I give him the hook. I'm fine. I'd like to buy it from you. Having those berries at the front would be nice. I don't know. How much money do I have right now? I only have 5 coins. I'm going to quick save and I'm going to try a few options. I gave him the hook, I'm fine. I'm going to just give it back to him and see. Or actually, I'm going to see how much it is. I'd like to buy it from you. Nah, I don't like that one. Because he says, can't you just make it yourself? So maybe I can. I give him the hook. I'm fine. He takes the tools from you and nods.
Need anything else?
I'm looking for Austerion, the previous road warden.
Are you now? Are you now?
He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him.
I don't think I'm going to be of much help.
He rests his elbow on the table top and grunts quietly to clear his throat.
But I do want you to find him, so...
When asked about his intentions, he measures his words.
Austerion and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins. My half of the investment.
He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously.
If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news.
Could it be that Austerion stole the coins and ran away? He looks at a window and starts to play with a shutter.
I think Austerion ain't the kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd risk saying he had earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a road warden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of.
He rubs the table with his thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain.
I've asked travelers. I've sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in the White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something.
White Marshes? Alright, and keep says, White Marshes was stayed in for a day last by Austerion. Alright, save. Cool.
It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing.
I'll think about it. I hate when the climate changes. Now my nose is all weird. Yeah? There's been so many changes right now in the weather. I've been really kind of worried because where I currently am hasn't been able to have like a very proper spring. It was really delayed and off. And so it seems like we're just kind of more transitioning into the heat of the summer instead of having a full spring, which is not good for like the plants and animals. In general, I usually struggle with my sinuses, which includes my nose. So, as always, it's kind of shit, but hopefully the climate can be nicer to your nose, and be sure to take care of it. Make sure to get nasal spray if you need to hydrate it properly, or take allergy medication if that's one of the factors. Please take care of yourself in advance. Alright.
What else do you need?
What do you have for sale? Do I have anything you'd like to buy? What can you tell me about the peninsula? I didn't expect to find an inn of this size such in a place like this. Glossy band, anywhere. Okay. I guess, what can you tell me about the peninsula? Alright, more tea.
What can anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name. Unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I'd call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground.
He glances at your eyes.
But it's not us who hunt. Keep that in heart. but the beasts in all shapes and forms. His words gain confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his oh my gosh, deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just, once you get here and see how harsh it is to hit the road, you have only more reasons to stay at the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks towards the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot already, that the people don't build hamlets anymore. There are no ibexes from the south, and the traders stay for only a few days. All of our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords nor tools. What will I find traveling west? Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Have you ever been to the northern coast? Oh, which way? West is in the northeast west. Currently, I'm heading on the west side. Supposedly, it's a looping road, like a looping road section mostly. So, what will I find traveling west? Well, there are some hills nearby. Then you'll find a village, maybe an hour away from here. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it. And they say it's haunted, but who knows? Who cares? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're used to hearing some mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south, which leads to an old mine in the mountains. Nothing to find there. But keep riding north, and you'll find Howlersdale, set at a clean brook. Farmers live there, and mouflons and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, it means they ain't been to the ale inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. I smile politely. I know only a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work in the quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the Seekers have a small monastery nearby, in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves, and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me. White Marsh is set at the bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader. So, 3 villages, really. Howlers, the one near the monastery, or whatever it's called, and marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Pretty much. Don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here you'll find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and monkeys stole food and gods from their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, you know. The eastern forests are wild, and the roads are rough. Almost no soul lives there. One day all these roads will be swallowed by trees again. Every now and then the audio gets glitchy. That's not good. I will have to check and see. Right now I can't do any troubleshooting, but I can check over the VOD once the stream is over, and I will see if I can figure out the reasoning. There's a few options that might be going on. It might be from my end. It also might be from Twitch's end, but I will check. The furthest my team has ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track until you reach the crossroads right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east. You'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow surrounded by a wall. He looks towards the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coding. She lives as a hermit, Eudocia. I don't even know how she survives there. But if you don't have decent coin, you won't find much there. So back to the crossroads. If you turn left instead, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects to the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between two sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts.
It's not like super glitchy, but it's noticeable and only lasts for a few seconds. Interesting. I wonder why. Yeah, I'll take a look after this stream. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it right now. Unless I were to end stream right away and then go back through the footage and try and find a piece, a section of what, of when it glitches. Sometimes I have noticed that sometimes, like, most recently, the power of my house has been flickering a bit, and whenever that happens, sometimes that can glitch out my mic. I'm currently using a condenser microphone that does indeed require phantom power, so it also might be connected to the cords that run through. So I have the power giver for phantom power. You could try to clip it, maybe? Oh, you don't have to, but if you do, I could definitely be able to find it and then figure out a bit more. It might be a power problem. Has this ever happened in a previous stream that I've done? Have you heard it before? Alright, let me write down some notes on this section. So there's an enchantress. Enchantress near Crossroads. Enchantress Crossroads by Watchtower. By Watchtower. Turn east. Alright. Name Eudocia. Or Eudocia? Eudocia? No, it's the first time. Yeah, my condenser mics most often use phantom power. Mine requires, I think, 48 volts. Yeah, it's pretty fitting for a ghost to have a mic that requires phantom power. Yeah, I have a Lewitt mic. And a lot of condenser mics do. Because I don't have a diaphragm microphone, I prefer condensers because I can do a lot more adjustment for it. And I can readjust how much noise it keeps out. And I currently have a Go XLR that provides the phantom power. Yeah. It's different from a lot of, like, because it's not one that, like, yeah. I don't need to go on a whole, like, mic explanation thing. But, like, yeah. Mics are really fascinating. I love studying them. I would like a better microphone at some point, but I'm very attached to this mic. It may not be the highest quality, but it's an LCT 240 Pro, and I'm very attached to it. At some point I would like to, but I definitely can't afford another mic. Anyway, but I will make sure to figure out what's causing this noise. It being the first time that it's been doing that, my guess is it is most likely related to the fact that this home's power keeps flickering every once in a while. I literally have no lights on, so I can't, in this room that I'm streaming in, so I can't really tell. That's usually the best way to figure it out. If the energy flickers, it doesn't cause my, like, monitors to flicker. And it seems to be on the verge of storming, if not storming outside. Honestly, you could keep talking about it and I wouldn't mind it. Well, I'm trying to play Road Warden. There's so much going on. I wish to explore the wilds. Alright, wrote down about Eudocia. She needs decent coin. Alright, and then shortcut between the two sides of the peninsula. Beasts go through there. Shortcut through peninsula, other way. Alright. Cool. Have you ever been to the northern coast?
I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day or on foot. It's a bit less from the eastern side.
His eyes once again focus on the floor.
I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place, close to villages of fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them.
Okay. Maybe a day or foot, a bit less, day on foot, maybe a bit less from the eastern side. Okay. That's all I need. I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in such a place like this. Glossia's band. Let me ask about Glossia's band. He freezes. Oh, he wants to. Alright, I'm on it. Okay, any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby, but you know what you're doing. Who are you wondering about? Okay. I will come back with more questions. What do you have for sale?
I can go and pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausages. Not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I've got an elk fur I don't need. Inspire was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot. Just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soap. Priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made of fine oak ash. Strong, though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse.
After you mention you'd like something more useful on these roads, he looks down.
I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but if you pay well, I can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of corals. A yew bow, wool cords, and the trigger just needs a bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally.
Alright, food rations, elk fur.
Oh god, that's expensive.
Well, I'm going to buy soap. I am filthy. And I'm unwilling to get anything else right now. Alright. For some reason, I feel like it's inappropriate to ask about his inn like that. So I'm gonna head out. Go to the well and clean yourself. The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew from a bucket and tells you to only use as much water as necessary. Wash your shell. You need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. Alright, wash yourself. Alright, that's a little bit better. Approach the guards, I guess. The woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as large as the dark ones from the forests. It responds to the touch of a human hand and brush with grateful grunting and rapid twitches of a hind hoof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well, and you have no doubts that its charge would leave opponent dead in a breath. When the woman notices you, she steps forward to the boar's disappointment. Oh, is this the one in the yellow armor? Okay. I did a country accent for her again. But what country accent was I doing again? I guess I can just do normal voice. So, the new road warden, she points at a window with her chin, forestalling the question. We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance. She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaging the touch of time. Oh, so this is a different person. Of her unpowdered face. Like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthily pale. No, it is the same person. The boar runs up to her, observing your boots and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats it back, but maintains her focus. How about a game or two? We can get a bit of time and can talk about this and that. Maybe you'll get a couple of coins or lose one, she winks. We could play dice or throw axes as a target. Ooh. Well, a great way to make friends is to gamble with them. Not that I'm for gambling, but yeah, sure. Let's play dice. I'll quick save. I'm going to cheat in this regard. Your arrival, and especially the dragon bone you pull out, are cheerfully welcomed. Two of the guards bring a table from the end, and another one prepares a couple of stools and chairs. There's also spectators, and you're told that the other hunters are either sleeping or have duty on the tower. Remember, no magic, says one of the players. His face is deadly serious. The game is new to you, but in no way baffling. 4 people can play at once. The wooden dice are long with only 4 dotted faces. Every time someone wins a round, they get a point, and the person with the most points at the end of the game wins all the coins. As you play, you don't feel like you're having much control over the results. I blend in with the group. Ooh, your knowledge of magic can be used, sorry. You share casual jokes, memories, and views on luck and optimal strategies. Epona and Tulia's camp are also brought up, but when you ask about the roads or locals, their stories are vague. The drinks are here. It's a poor beer made from leftovers after the regulars brewing. It's cold, sweet, and doesn't reach your head, but you try to avoid the smell. Just don't spill anything. The boar may get sick, says your bald appointment. In just a few minutes, you get 2 points, which are now represented by smooth pebbles. You don't really know how you got them. Either you don't get the strategy, or it's pure luck. I'm going to quick save again. There's a strategy to this game. I can see it. I can't be sure I'll win, but I can play better than they expect. Ooh! Please, 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 please. Win, win, win! No! After a long series of bad rolls, you finish with 2 points. The second lowest score. You put a dragon bone in front of the guard in yellow armor, whose comically exaggerated thanks are met with laughter. After the table and chairs move back to the building, she asks if you need anything. I lost a coin. That is way more. That is my life's support. Okay. Okay. Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? Tell me about yourself. I was reading that. Well, I want to know more about her. What was that? After a brief giggle, her voice gets cold and serious. Nah, Road Warden. We use names and stories among our friends. You ain't one. Don't make me tempt curses. Ah, I see. Shit, she doesn't trust me enough. Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? We sometimes hunt south from here. There are good hunting grounds in the western half. The second one is too overgrown. Maybe the soil is different? She shrugs, then moves the hair away from her forehead. But it's a risky spot. There are treants there and wolves, even the furless ones. And if you have to go through the tall grasses, watch out for what's on the ground. There ain't many archers in the trees. She smiles as if it's a joke, but there are too many worms, even larger than a water leech. I was foraging for berries for the innkeep. She chuckles. So I've heard. Don't worry about it. Usually we forage by ourselves, but he wouldn't ask you for a dragon for a meal. He gives small jobs to people all the time just to see who agrees to do them. Want to judge who's of use and who's too proud for their own good. Well, I don't know. I'm not trustworthy in, Oh, the armor is open? You walk past the well and find a small open shed. Not unlike the stable, but with a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincers, knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so. There are 2 people sitting on a long bench. The first one is a male with maybe inch-long hair, a cleanly shaven face, a thin, long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sawing a gambeson with great concentration. The second person is a boy, maybe 15, who's wearing the crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you, but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. I'm gonna quick save. Greetings. The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on the task. He ain't talking. Tell me what it is that you need. The man smiles in confirmation, looks at the piece of garment in his hands, then looks around, shrugs, and looks bow. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams of his tunic and grabs a broken kidney and shows its broken head. He wouldn't even if he had the tools, said the boy. But you can try on Hallerstell or Gale Rocks. Let me see. New trader unlocked. He nods, points to the laces in front of your jacket, raises his clenched fingers to his shoulders, then gently spreads and lowers them, as if he's taking off a robe. You follow his command and allow him to properly inspect your gambeson. After a few minutes, he gives it back, then reaches for his pouch, pulls out one dragon bone, shrugs, and then another one, and waves both in the air, pursing his lips. He makes a few speech-like noises with his mouth, groaning what sounds like, "I don't know." Consider his offer. Oh, pay 1. Okay, and that'll give me 1 more? Yeah, totally. I'll totally do that. Nice. Your jacket is as good as this armor can make it. Learning the trade, I see? Kind of, he answers reluctantly, but his teacher pats his knee, giving him a harsh look. The kid clears his throat. Yes, but we both ain't masters, you see. There's not a soul to teach us, so once I'm ready, I'll try hunting instead. Fixing things for others is boring. The man grunts a sound, though you don't understand it. Saying that your face, the boy chuckles. He said safe. Let's meet in the middle. Boring, but safe. The man nods. I leave the shed. Okay, I have 10 hours and 30 minutes before dusk. Let me see. I'll go 30 minutes this way. Let me go over. The road uphill meanders, slowing down and forcing you to pay attention, not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and find ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. Standing in front of the gates, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. I approach the building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was for a storage room. The valuable odds and ends were already taken by scavengers. Take a closer look at the gate. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of force used must have been huge, but you'd expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? You can't really tell. I move forward. I explored the southwest part of the village. The buildings, some which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling or a large wolf, larger than the gray ones, or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess. Yet, no beast remains in sight. You find the remains of clothes, furnitures, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use. A basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my saddle. You feel a slight aching in your stomach. Where do you want to go? Well, I don't like that all of a sudden I feel an aching in my stomach. I'll go into the fields, because I am a scholar, so I can see if there's any salvageable plants. You're surrounded by what looks like a field plowed in late autumn, disturbed by hundreds of rains and snowfalls. There's a few clumps of grass and wheat, but a place like this one, abandoned for years, should have turned itself into green Leah. A barren field? Maybe it was overused, but you would still expect the weeds to sprout. A curse? The path leading west from here at the edge, swifting to a meadow, then a forest. In the north, you see a path leading around the palisade. I don't have a way to investigate. Your stomach lets out a painful groan. West? Barren fields in the southwest. Southeast. I'll do go to the pasture in the southeast. You don't find a single sign of the livestock that lived here in the past. Any bones, horns, or antlers or dung have already been devoured by wilderness. The pasture ends at the river. On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest, impenetrable for a rider. What are the chances that a herd of defenseless animals could get there and survive? The breach in the southern fence wasn't made by some brute force. You find axe cuts in the spots that were ultimately broken away. After all these years, there are no tracks that you could follow. Spooky. Oh, you clipped it? Alright, I'll have to take a look then. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. Where do you want to go? I expect the palisade in the west. The tracks of human footwear and many more ape footprints cover the path formed around the palisade's breach. As far as you can tell, the freshest footprints lead to the village. The wooden stakes spread on the ground are rotten, covered in mushrooms, small flowers, insects, and worms. A good source of animal or goblin food, though you'd expect them to also hunt for the birds and eggs. The meadow in the west turns into a forest quickly. The grasses in the north surround dozens of tree stumps already covered with moss and fungi. Going south, you'll reach a larger field, though you don't see any crops. I shouldn't enter the forest, especially not in this area. It's unpredictable. Alright, it's too painful. I think I should... I can't head anywhere at this point because I have to keep looking. Clearing in the west. I'll inspect the clearing in the west. The meadow is lush and colorful, and it's so dense it's unsafe for a rider. For a couple of minutes, you lead Epona with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have a comparable size. They're most likely planted with the sole purpose of being cut down and used by the locals. Though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wraths of the herds. Such a process should be spread across a couple of seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. In the west and north, the clearing turns into a wild forest. In the east, you see a road clearing north. Used to have a red-haired model? Yes! Before I decided to, my art account had always been Ghosttownmettie, but when I started out streaming, I actually used to go by the name, Carotid Munchies, and stream as Cart instead of Mettie, which is like what my friends and like a lot of people actually call me, because I wanted to have a streaming life that was separate from anything else I was working on. And so that model that I had red hair and cat ears. Yeah. But now you can't really find any videos or clips anywhere because I'm like, yeah, I think I should just keep using like Ghosttownmettie for everything I do. Because I've had people on my art account, especially on Tumblr, ask me for different tutorials and such. So I'm working on getting more into video editing. That way I can produce more content and produce more animations. So instead of separating streaming, you know, from every other creative aspect I do, might as well combine it, you know what I mean? You saw a 2-year-old clip? Somebody clipped me? That's... I did not realize that somebody had. That's awesome. I clipped it? I don't even remember. Alright. In the west and north, clearing turns into wild forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. I leave the clearing. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. Where do you want to go? I go to the road leading north from the village. My tummy is starting to hurt, so I'll leave. I'm pretty sure this land is cursed. There's no reason to stick around. I want to open the gate. Or, I want to take a closer... I want to go somewhere else. I head to the river. Ooh, you see a quenching family of boars. Some of them brown, some black. You consider turning back, but they pay you little attention. After a couple of grunts, they run north. The river is not too wide, yet unusually deep, with banks altered by the locals for decades, if not centuries. The water is cold and clean, yet filled with long plants growing from the bottom. You would rather avoid jumping inside or drinking from it, but you're tempted to at least wash your face, neck, and hands. Dozens, if not hundreds, of small fish are looking for tasty leaves, but also try to avoid the predators. A dance of life, completely unaware of your presence. You suddenly realize there's something else buried among the kelp. A rusty sickle sticking out from the ground. A couple of stone axes and hoes. The wooden handles and a large wagon are covered with moss, but you recognize their shapes. Why would someone drop them here? On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a fixed forest, impenetrable for a rider. I wonder if I could place a, I got a fish trap. Curious. Alright, return. I turn back. I consider washing myself. I spend some time setting up. How many? I have 9 and 15 minutes. This is about 45 minutes away. I can... Do I still have soap? No. I used my soap. Alright, I consider washing myself in the river. I spent some time to set up a fish trap at the bank. Wouldn't be bad. You place the basket on the ground, then grab a bowl and start digging, looking for a few larger worms. You bait the stick and push it inside the basket, locking it between the sides, then cover the entrance with the lid. Tying it together takes you a few good moments, but will be easier later on. You attach the entire trap to a bush and push it into the stream, far enough that it sinks entirely. Who knows how long it will be until something large enough swims inside. Still, it would be better not to wait for too long, otherwise the prey might die of hunger. Okay, 8 hours and 45 minutes before dusk. I don't need to wash fully. Can I go? Yeah, I'm going to actually go farther. You enter the wetlands with their many streams, ponds, and fish. Large birds run and fly between the gray, sparse trees that are covered with moss, mushrooms, and critters. For a human, it may be an unwelcoming and harsh realm, but the overwhelming swarms of insects prove that it's a realm full of life. The danger, with teeth and claws, is hidden below the water surface. I stay away from the banks. Ooh, there's the tree that they were mentioned before. Oh, I gotta take a drink. Ooh. I gotta switch out. I had an old tea bag sitting in the bottom of that one because it was herbal, but now I want to pour tea from my teapot, which is in a different type of tea from the one that I had in the bag. Because I need more hydration. Ew. My throat is starting to hurt a bit. But that's what talking for 2 hours straight will do. This plant shouldn't be alive, not without leaves. It doesn't resemble the other trees of the wetlands, it's something else. You get off your horse and prepare your axe. The water is filled with dirt and dead plants, and it smells like an old corpse. The roots are spreading far, breaking through the water's surface. You don't see any saurians in the grasses or on the shore. You approach the tabor-like altar out of 3 limestone stabs. Were these rocks originally as formless as they are now? Was there a point in time centuries ago when they were precisely shaped and decorated by masters of artistry? There's no way to tell. Epona is peacefully observing the dark grass and slapping flies with its tail. Whatever it is that you feel in the air, it's clear that your companion sees this place through very different eyes. I smile and scratch. Ooh, there must be a strong spirit hidden in this tree. Maybe I should bring in a gift. But what? Dirt and dead plants. Smells like an old corpse. Chunky roots. Shouldn't be alive. It's unique. I'll have to find out more. I smile and scratch the bottom of its neck. Go ahead. I'll look around just for a moment. You don't see any creatures nor humans. I look into the water. You step cautiously. Without knowing how deep it gets, you have to consider that a saurian could be camouflaged in the mud, waiting for a victim to get near. Since you don't plan to kneel down and drink, you're hoping to dodge a potential strike. Once you get closer, you start breathing again. While the water is dirty, it's also shallow. You see the vegetation, swimming insects, and even small fish. All of them stay away from the tree roots, which look like a spider's web covering the bottom of a pond. Aside from that, you don't see anything that will catch your attention. I take a closer look at the roots. Interesting, like a spider web. And life seems to... I would probably have to put something alive there, I guess. I take a closer look at the roots. You kneel in front of the one thing that's lying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. When you touch it, it's moist, soft, warmer than you'd expect. Warm? A root shouldn't be warm. I do something with it. Harvest. Take. Cut. Alright, I have the spirit. I approach the altar. There's clumped dirt in the uneven nicks, fused by years of winds and rains. The bottom surface of the table is dusty, but you don't find any spiderwebs or mold, even though it's a perfect spot for them. The tree roots cling to the altar in many spots. They're firmly attached. You struggle to move them even by an inch. I don't have any I can give it, so I'll walk away. Alright, travel. About 1 hour and 45 minutes. I still have a while, so let me... I can go south or I can go north. I think north is how I get to that one town that the innkeep wanted me to talk to. Bum, 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 bum. North or south, north or south, north or south. Well, I feel like north is going to take a lot of time because there is a town there. And currently I have 7 hours and 45 minutes. I have... So I'll say about 6 hours. No. I'll say I have about 5 hours to use. I don't think it's enough to walk around a town and then get back. Because I don't know how far up the north is. Though if I go up and there's a town, maybe I could stay there? Let me go south. The shapes of mountains are cutting through the horizon. The water gets gradually less muddy. The cleaner it gets, the more animals you see. A family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water, which would be deadly for a human stomach. You consider riding around them, through the sparse meadow, but your presence also causes them disquiet. Without much haste, they regroup and run east into the leafy forest. I travel forward. You've reached Hag Hills, the wall of stones that had blocked the city grasp. The one well-established route through them leads through the valley where you found Tulia's camp. There are no maps of the highlands, nor local tribes, only stories. The beaten path leads you by the garden of beds and herbs and vegetables to an old, yet not abandoned, mine, hidden behind a massive door made of steel. I look around. There's no hitching rail for a mount. A bearded, skinny elder sits up on a bench, observing you like a sculpture with his legs crossed and fingers underlocked in his abdomen. I feel like friendly. Good day to you. Don't worry about my horse. I'll keep it away from your garden. Seems to make sense. Without a word, I get off my sword with, maybe, I kind of want to do vulnerable. He moves aside and invites you to sit next to him. Come closer, traveler. I need you to look at me whilst you speak. His tone is gentle but strict, as if of a teacher. I can hear you neigh without magic, but I'll read your lips. Your tongue tells me that you'll neigh from here, but I'll listen to what bothers you. His face is wrinkled, but he sits straight, with beard and hair still carrying glimpses of fair blonde. He stands like a worker, and his eyes are blue and piercing, as if they belong to an infant. You rest on the planks, observing the peaceful garden and the few frogs resting on the store. The stories of my ancestors may reveal to me who this man is. You ponder about his unusual vigor and the unguarded garden. He may be a spiritual leader of a pagan community, most likely a spellcaster. Druids try to protect others from nature's wrath by teaching them to respect the laws of balance and restraint. Different tribes develop their own traditions, but you know that in this province such priests prefer to be addressed as forest speakers. I thank him for his kindness. Forest speaker. Actually, I'm going to write that in my notes. Old druid called forest speaker. He lowers his head and closes his eyes, taking slow, deep breaths, forcing you to wait in silence. The elder is tall, with long hair and a beard that was let loose a long time ago. His sandals are covered in dust, and you spot dirt on his clothes and skin. The woolen tunic and linen were made with care, decorated with colorful threads at the collars and sleeves. Now all the blues and greens have faded, and the fabric is held together by patches and stitches. He unfolds his hands and puts them on his lap, palms up. What voice did I just use? You know our customs, and at least some of them. Those who know how to bow to the trees will never suffer from wild creatures. I wait for him to look at me. The man stands up and approaches your palfrey. Without touching it, he observes his eyes, mane, stomach, and rear. Epona ignores this examinations. My nose was right, then. Asterion is dead, as are his plans. Such is the fate of all dreamers. He turns towards you with a grim look. Are you going to look for him? You nod. Why? If he's vanished into the fogs, that's nae the point of putting yourself in danger. What do you expect to find? It's a job. There's a reward for finding him. He may need my help. I need to know what kind of danger he encountered. If he's dead, I won't be able to know about it. If someone tried to make him disappear, they deserve to face justice, or there's no reason why I need to know that. He may need help is the reason why I want... Yeah, he may need help. Do you believe that a man with no power over animals could disappear in the wilderness and survive that long? He lets out a chilling laugh. I bow to your optimism. He doesn't actually bow. If what you say is honest, you and I could share paths one day. Defending those that can nay help themselves is something that makes me whole. He takes a deep breath and smiles. You have some questions for me. I nod. His voice is warm. So, how can I help you? Okay. Oh, cool! Have you met Asterion? He wanders among the garden beds, from time to time touching the leaves at hand. He was here more than once. He was nae one to stand aside and let events play out by themselves. The villagers from the north are sometimes in need of my assistance, and Asterion was serving them as a messenger. He bends down and tears away a small, flowerless plant. He wanted to settle down among these robes, maybe to live freely. He had great plans and wanted to make this realm flourish, to rebuild the ruins, to get rid of the brigands, and clear the reach out. I told him that the force needs nae more people, and that this realm is too wild to feed and clothe everyone. His great dreams have eaten him, and now he is nae more. He pauses, and you can hear his heavy breathing as if he's getting tired. He straightens up. And that's that, traveler. If you want to look for his shelf, travel north, far north. People there should know where he is. Alright, cool. Asterion is said to be by the forest speaker far, far north. Okay. I'll do that. What time is it? How far away is this? 2 hours? Alright. Wound wart. Alright, save. Maybe. I kind of want to ask for wormworts. I dabble in a bit of herbalism. Any chance you'd sell me some of the woundwort you grow here? He looks at you with a renewed curiosity, then rests at the wooden bench, from where he glances at the pink flower. His beard shakes as he tilts his head forward. Wishing to help the wounded, I say. Notable goal. Once his eyes turn towards your lips, you see a doubting raised brow. "'Tis a good season to pick their flowers and leaves, but you leave me with nothing but the bare stalks and black tubers in the soil. And I quite like these tubers. You wish to take the oils away, take care of the rest." Oh, cool. It shouldn't take more than an hour. Very well. Grab yourself a cloth from the bucket. Grab yourself a cloth from the bucket. Keep your knees from the dirt. His tone has not a hint of light-hearted invitation. It's an order of a master addressing their pupil, a statement as undisputed as the color of the sky. You put away your belongings and grab both the cloth and a small spade that is placed next to it. As you prepare Epona to graze in peace, you noticed a horned bear among the nearby trees, just on the path. It completely ignores your presence, and as you're reaching for the axe, you hear a calm voice of the elder. Let the beasts drink in peace. They seek nae harm. After a minute or so, you place the cloth on the ground and kneel on it. You start by cutting away the oil parts of the plants with your dagger and placing them on a wax-soaked linen cloth, hoping they'll stay somewhat fresh before the season ends. You stop caring about the way they cover your fingers with green and pink. You don't have to be gentle either. After all, you plan to remove the wound warts in their entirety. The man interrupts you before you start digging. I do not expect there's many herbs growing in the city. You look at him and wipe your forehead with a sleeve. Once you learn how to read, you can find a lot of the herbaria. The monastery, my neighbors used to be farmers before they lost their home in the war. I shrug. I wasn't born in Havlaven. He nods. I figured as much. You stab the soil with a spade getting to all the black rhizomes and roots you can find. The man tells you to leave the garden bed as is so he can add some animal dung to it. You've gathered a small pile of yellowish worm-like tubers, still covered in dirt. Not much longer than a finger, and disturbingly twisted. You gesture at the results of your work, but the man frowns and looks at the pond. You forgot to wash them, herbalist. You have a strong back. Just wash them before you eat? Fine. I begrudgingly carry the tubers to the bank. You get closer to the tiny waterfall. You stand across it and let the cool water do the job for you. In the meantime, washing your hands. The refreshing touch tempts you to take a sip as well. Finally, you put the tubers on the bench, and the old man, without a comment, grabs one of them and puts it in his mouth, chewing with a hint of a smile. Your mount just woke up from a short nap. Okay. Well, that was a very, very good interaction. I was worried it was going to go worse. So I just got, tubers from that. And at some point, I would like to stop on the way back. Yeah, 2 hours. I'd like to stop on the way back in the village, go to the riverside, and check for fish. Okay. I don't need to have to ask how he survives in this place all by himself. He's a druid, so it's fine. What can you tell me about this place? What can you tell me about the peninsula? I've heard about some bandits. Were they bothering you? Yeah, I think I'll ask about the bandits. I think asking about the bandits makes sense. He strokes his beard, but then grasps it very nervously. There's a swords who state from the White Marshes, group in the north. They would nay dare show up here, but those brigands are brute simpletons. Ever the leader, Garcia, listens only to force, and will humiliate for the enjoyment of a band. She'll nay be afraid of some lost road warden. He lets go of his beard and lowers his head. She's drifted so far away from her old self, a calm, bright girl from Gale Rocks, loved by her parents. But now, do ne'er cross her, or she'll find you. She drifted so far away from her house, a kind, bright girl from Gale Rocks. I'll have to go to Gale Rocks then. Alright, what can you tell me about this place? I guess I'll ask about the place. You realize what there's to know. People found copper in a cave. It's been abandoned for a long time now, so we turned it to a shelter to stay close to the sacred tree and its altar. The servants, my wife and I, and this place is nothing more than a servant's house. Listen, do what the forward be. Okay, village in the east. I want to know what happened to the village. Oh, can you tell me about anything on the altar near the crossroads in the north? He smiles. 'Tis the tree you should pay attention to. The true gift from the forest. Answers to our offering and rewards us with its magnificent fruits. They heal both shell and soul and make anyone who eats them stronger than they ever were. We gather around this altar whenever the winter ends. It also requires a painful sacrifice from all of us? It prepares one soul from the future like Nathan else could. Painful sacrifice from all of us? Like what? Blood? Whenever the winter ends. Alright, what can you tell me about the druids? He strokes his beard gently. The forest guides us and we share its wisdom with the tribes. We and they ought to stay humble, take from the land what is needed instead of what's wanted. Not because it is something we believe in, but because it protects us from the wrath of the herds. Stay alive, one needs to know how to be patient, take restraint into their hearts. And to make the beast listens to us, we keep the animals healthy, teaching them to nay approach them homes of travelers. Sounds reasonable. It seems like the path to the heart of the woods is quite dangerous. It has a long and dark past, and already caught souls of its builders. 'Tis paved with blood, and the last 10 years have revealed it was all for nothing. Oh, it doesn't feel right now, it's just speaking this normally. It has a long and dark past, and already caught many souls of its builders. 'Tis paved with blood, and the last 10 years have revealed it was all for nothing. Since the days of... He glances at you, once again surprising you with how shiny and lively the blueness of his eyes are. Of grand discord, the tribes of this land are locking themselves in their fields and houses, too afraid to leave them behind, too untrusting to meet other souls and God. 'Tis nae the first road to be claimed back by the wilderness, and will nae be the last. You asked if he has any tips for you on how to survive such a trip, and he tells you it would be wiser just to avoid it. He then reaches into his pocket, grabs a leaf, puts it in his mouth, chewing gently. Death may take many paths to a stranger, but cat's the one enemy that's both dangerous in stealth as it is in combat. No human can fight it alone. If you see one of them, then it's too late. Do nae provoke it, make it wary, but nae scared. Look big, talk a lot, seek its action and size. Okay, write that note. Cats. Do not provoke cats, just make it wary, not scared. Do not provoke cats. Make it wary, not scared. Oh wait, also he says, look big, talk a lot, seek action in its eyes. Look big, talk a lot, seek actions in its eyes. Look big. Look big, talk a lot, seek action in its eyes. Okay, good to know, good to know. A quick save. I want to know what happened to the village in the east. I'm nae willing to tell you that. He raises his chin and his beard. That shameful tail off to be cut in the past for the sake of the living. Alright, Alright. I don't mind. I'm looking for a job. I don't know if that's the right choice. I believe your goodwill, and I'm in need of your help. He gestures for you to follow him to the pond. 'Tis nae different task, but one I can complete by myself. And my spells are nae enough to ask animals to fetch for me. He speaks very slowly. At the northern coast, you'll find Gale Rocks, a village of fishes. One of them is in my debt, and I want you to collect what's mine. You want to ask about this debt, but he doesn't look at you. He points at a shiny large fish with orange and golden scales swimming nearby. This gorgeous creature is an empress carp, one of the few animals that thrive both in the seas and lakes. I wait for him to look at me. You don't know where the man found the large worm that he now drops in the water, feeding his pets. Go to that place and find Photios. He's a young father, an ocean folk with scars on his back, which he will not hide. Ask for a male empress carp. Oh, so needs male empress carp from Photios. Need to get male emperor carp from Photios, who has scars on back, northern fishing village. Okay. Oh, also for druid. That does not say for druid. Village for druid. No, that says for druid. Alright. Also has to be live. Journal. Needs to be alive. I need alive so it can mate with the one I have. Alright, traveling with light fishing, I can't promise I'll do it right away. Alright, he stands up and approaches you. I didn't sleep on dragon bones, but the pneuma's in my blood. I'll use some of it to heal your wounds. Though a name more than once, that's fair. Alright, I'll agree to that. I'm glad the Empress carpet we have keeps the water clean of leeches, at least as much as can. One more could help us greatly. What can you tell me about the peninsula, I guess? Alright, so he's lived here for almost a century. Won't be a guide or teacher for us. Warns us not to stay away from the woods, and that the creatures get angry the more that we take from them. Do not ride east, and never use the path that runs through the heart of this land. That road was meant to save time, but brings only death. Be a servant, not an overseer. Do not try and bend this place to your will. Alright. I thank him. These instructions are in line with my own thoughts. Okay, so this is definitely a game where you can't do everything in a single run, I don't think. So I gotta think about this. Alright, what time is it now? Still 6:15. Let me travel back up. Oh, you slow down. Among the shrubs, a pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a gray auroch. One of them, with red feathers on its arms, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but doesn't move forward and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be, satisfied with their prey, or would they run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now you have enough space to move forward, yet stay safe. The powerful jaws break the monster's bones loudly, then bite off and swallow chunks of meat. I ride forward, but I keep my distance and look over my shoulder. The beaten road serves your palfrey well. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths among the fruit-bearing trees. On your right, there's a large pasture with at least a dozen mouflons. Two of them, already sheared, look comically small. Soon after that, you ride along vast, flourishing fields filled with rye, still green, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. The path ends with a massive wooden gate. The stone wall, separating you from the glow of lights behind it, isn't as tall as the roofs, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks, no missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is, as wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with sounds of carts, running, hammers, saws, laughters, and shout. Sigh. I don't feel comfortable in large settlements. Let's get this over with. A young man is leaning against the closed gates, covered by its shadow. He's young, tanned, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson he wears an expensive tunic decorated with a colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's mostly made of wool and leather. He moves into the light and takes on the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are two weapons on the ground leaning on the wooden beams of the gate, an axe made of steel and one club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount smoothly, still having some vigor left. Epona holds its tail high. A narrow path leads north towards two field workers, one with a hoe and one with a pitchfork. They wave to you. You can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple, gray pants and vest, made from hemp and wool. I wave back. Why not? Yeah, why not? This character of mine may have some parts of them that is not always accepted by others, but, I mean, that's even more reason to have a positive relations. They talk for a bit, looking toward you and pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing behind the wall's corner. The guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes and has to clear his throat before he speaks.
Welcome, traveler. If you're nae here to make trouble, Howler's Dwell welcomes you. We have the whitest flower there is.
When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance.
If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Capes, boots, vests, robes, or if you're a master of the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for.
His act is over, and he glances at your mouth in a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with childlike fascination. This is Epona. It helps me patrol the road. You can pet its side if you want, but no sudden movements. He follows your instruction. Even though your palfrey pays no attention to the man's careful touch, he grins widely. Oh, I'm glad I allowed him to touch the horse. That's cute. I'm Mettie, your new road warden. I want to see your mare.
City folk, eh? The mayor's busy, but I'll ask her. Give us a moment to let you in.
He knocks at the gates, which is then pulled inward by 2 other guards, a man and a woman wearing their own gambesons, similarly green, but tailor-made to match their figures. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch, while the storehouse is even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of ropes and sticks, no stairs.
Just give me a moment.
The guard strides away before he finishes the last word. The others close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes run east to a humming creek running through the center of the village. I wait for their turn, the messenger. Calming sound, eh? That's Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is taller than you. Wide but shallow, there's never been a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be nae bridges. Neighbours crossed it with their boots in their hands, and 'tis clean like a raindrop, but there are nae many fish. We're the cleanest village in the north. Her companion chuckles brightly. When the guard returns, he's still on. She can nae come now. A friend of mine is in labour, eh? Mayor wants to be there when the child arrives, but I was asked to show you the village. I nod. Fine. He approaches the watchtower. Tie your mount here. We'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbors are getting ready to celebrate. Once you're done, he grabs the rope ladder. The view from up there is gorgeous. I climb after him. I don't think I'll need a knife. I think it's fine. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guard gets to the top quickly like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm itself, and when you join the man on the water platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile. I look around. Oh, cool, map uncovered. See, this nae place not like Howler's Dell. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, and the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of trees and bushes, larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream to its own tune. If you are to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool, and the beer, 'tis excellent. He sounds like a city merchant who's trying to sell his old house. No wonder he's so proud. Why wouldn't he be? They've tamed this scrap of land and live in comfort. The islet in the middle connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever opened as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there's the Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed and victuals, and the stalls where Akakios rewards our work, unless we annoy him with— oh, I forgot that was reading. Dang it, that was somebody speaking. He lets out a chuckle. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bayan, the best clothier in the north. The priests live in the southeast near the wall, but they do nae talk to strangers. They also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller, the pie maker lives with the sister, the baker, the smith, and her husband. The carpenter live with their kids. Some of the larger buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. There could be more than 100 dwellers here. Whoa, this is quite a city then. You consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see? The mayor's coming, the one way in purple. You're free to join her, traveler. I nod and climb down. You know, this might be a strange place to put it, but now that we've gotten to Howler's Dell, and are now about to meet the bear, I think I'm going to save here, and I think I'm going to end stream. I do not know if the strange glitchy sound is still going on, but I will need to check that. Also, I've been studying earlier languages, so I've already spoken a lot today. So my throat is a little bit sore and I don't want to overdo it. So thank you to anybody who has come. I'm definitely going to continue playing Road Warden. And the next time I shall be streaming will be on Monday. So thank you to anybody who has come. I really love Road Warden. I am now starting to remember a little bit more of when I last played it, but my memory isn't the greatest. So until next time. Thank you, and have a great of your day.